Hey guys, and welcome back to the Movie-Club Emporium. And this week we are talking about I can't help it, my favorite subgenre of horror. We're talking about the First Omen. Now, the Omen franchise is awkward. Can we say that? Are we far enough along we can say that? The First Omen, the original Omen, the Dick Donner Omen, it's fine. You know, when I think of like Catholic magic movies from the 70s, I mean, we're all gonna think about The Exorcist. But it's fine. I don't think it ever really lives up to its true potential with its premise of, oh my god, my son's the Antichrist. Those sequels are not good, despite the fact of the one having Sam Neill. Which, speaking of Sam Neill, I'll get to something here later involving another Sam Neill picture. There was also like a made-for-TV one about a little girl. Like, I don't know how she tied to Damien. If it was like a American Psycho 2 situation. But so again, not a great, just like rock solid franchise. So I didn't have a problem with we're doing the First Omen. And for 93%, I had a blast with this movie. I totally did. We'll get to kind of my qualms when we get to it. But no, I had fun with this movie. It is less of an Omen movie and more of just another like kind of Nun, not the Nun movie, which again I've defended those more than I think anybody else. It is funny this movie comes out like a couple weeks after Immaculate, which I didn't come here, so I didn't get to see that one. But I kind of feel like it's pretty kind of close to the same kind of movie. Where we have a young woman who goes to Italy to do her vows to become a nun. And oopsie daisy, we may be giving birth to the devil. And yes, that kind of is a spoiler for this movie, because we follow this young woman to become a nun, and she's working at this orphanage, this church orphanage. And there's this little girl who's weird, and she is locked away by the other nuns, and she draws things, and sometimes those drawings come true. And we're kind of led to believe like this nun is going to protect this little girl, because this little girl is our MacGuffin for the movie. And here we'll hit the first thing on the head. This movie's is like 2 hours long. It's too long. It's too long. Because you pick up very quickly that we're gonna spend the whole movie thinking this little girl is the little girl that is in danger of being of devil stuff. For far too late, the movie to surprise reveal to you that it was the young nun the whole time. So spoilers for that, I guess. But no, the act really, this movie lives and dies with our main actress, who has the wildest name, Nell Tiger Free. She is great in this, by the way. She is fantastic in it. She really has to kind of carry this movie. It's her, and then like the woman who was in like Attack of the Spider Woman, and then a bunch of like all your favorite grandpies from Game of Thrones. Bill Nighy's in this. Charles Dance makes a brief but memorable cameo. You have the actor who was in this movie is like the good guy priest. Although in the last Catholic magic movie I reviewed, The Pope's Exorcist, he was the voice of the devil. So he's He's a man of many talents, I guess. He's playing Father Brennan. I haven't gone back. I didn't go back and rewatch the Omen. So I don't know if he's supposed to be the priest from that movie or not. So let's get into the one big kind of hiccup with this movie, because again, this is a fun movie. This movie it's dark. It's a little nasty. The Google Home doesn't want me spoiling any more for you, but nevertheless, we will soldier on. There's some wild stuff in this movie. There's some scenes in this movie that I am shocked made it into the movie. One involving a dream sequence where you may or may not see a woman give birth to a devil hand, and I mean, you see it. You see it. But this movie has it kind of rogue ones itself against the original Omen, which is fine, really. I mean, it's the first Omen. You kind of expect it, but to the point to where we do it. We're butting up into the beginning of the Omen, but then they have to be like, in case anybody didn't realize, let me give you all the broad strokes of the Omen. And so there's just this voiceover of being like, here's who we'll take it to. And there's like a photo of Gregory Peck in like a file. And they're like, he's the American ambassador to Rome. We will have him raise the boy, because he will be in a way closer to power. Their child will come across a great accident and not make it in childbirth, and so we will do a baby swap. They've named their baby. They named it Damien. I'm like, I got it, movie. I saw that. I was in the theater and saw that remake, and that remake is not that good. I get it. Like, you don't if you're gonna butt up against the Omen, expect me to be smart enough to know what the Omen is. But no, other than that, I had fun with this movie. Like I said, there's some great effects in it, some great gore. Charles Dance gets a pretty awesome send off. There's one scene involving a guy who she meets at like a disco, who gets off pretty gnarly. And that's the other thing too. This is a filmmaker, Akshoa. It's a really difficult name to pronounce. Stevenson, Oskar Stevenson. No help from from over there, so that's fine. But it's close enough. She made Brand New Cherry Flavor for Netflix. And she directs the hell out of this movie, because not only are you dealing with all of the things you need to have in evil devil movie, but you gotta make it look like the 70s. And I think they do a really great job of making it look like 1970s Rome. And there's some great music drops in it. There's a scene where she goes to, and also kind of like it's dealing with a lot of protests, very famous protests and riots that were going on in Rome in the 70s, as kind of a backdrop for it, which I think is very smart, kind of like what they did with the remake of Suspiria, kind of setting it against the unrest in Berlin and stuff. But no, all in all, I really did enjoy this movie. Again, it's just kind of it's gotta tell you that it's a prequel to The Omen, and then kind of tell you what The Omen is, just in case you were too stupid to know what The Omen is. But no, I absolutely had a blast with it. If you enjoy these types of movies, go check them out. Honestly, of all 6 now, this is the 6th. The 666th Omen movie. I know people love that first one. It's fine. This was the one I had the most fun with. I do like at the very end of the movie, they finally give you like a new version of the Ave of Jerry Goldsmith's very famous Ave Satani music that he wrote for the original Omen. it sounds fantastic. There's a lot, like I said, a lot of gnarly stuff in this movie. The reasoning for, you kind of are given a lot of weird unnecessary backstory of why, who's kind of helping the Antichrist, and it's mostly because like there's a faction of this church who's like, hey guys, look, I did some math and the numbers are down, so if we bring about the apocalypse, that'll put butts in seats. So I mean, I guess it's one way to do it, but no, again, I had an absolute blast. It's just a little too long and a little too at the end, just a little too like, if you know, you know, and like, I got it. It's, you know, it's the First Omen. But no, I say, especially if you dig this type of subgenre of horror movies, like I do, check it out. So next week, I do believe we got to get to it. Because I've enjoyed talking about this movie and last week's Civil War, of course. There's a movie I watched before both of those that I've been dreading about talking about, but also trying to put some time between watching it and talking about it so that we'll see what type of review we actually get. But it's time now, so buckle up, because next week we're going to talk about Roadhouse, the new one, the new Roadhouse, not the first Roadhouse, because that movie is great, but the new Roadhouse with Gyllenhaal. So, put on your beer fight pants and grab a cold one. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.